anything for you. More money! Just tell me what you want me to do.
Patrons of the Conditional Release Program, pals, paysans, welcome to the first premium episode of the Conditional Release Program. And this is the Overflow, where we look at the topics that didn't quite make the cut in the weekly free edition.
It doesn't mean the stories are shit. We just simply can't fit that much into an hour or so. We don't want to have a 3-hour episode like fucking Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Like, fuck! Oh, the more I... Oh!
Saw him on my Instagram feed today, bastard.
I will spend 3 hours talking about how shit Joe Rogan is, honestly. Anyway, and
we could easily.
Some of them might be sort of shit, but I think you guys are going to have a bit more of a tolerance for shit. But in general, whatever these guys do is interesting and funny. So, it's going to be good.
Yeah, look, this is often the off the wall sort of slightly odd sort of stories that we sometimes have to sort of cull a bit. But of course, if you're listening to this, it means that you or someone you know has given us some money, and we want to thank you for that. And this is why we're doing this episode. Really, to say thank you, and there will be additional material that comes into the Patreon, of course. But we wanted to get this out nice and quick to say thank you for supporting us. Yeah, this podcast does take a lot of time to come up with each week, and we love doing it, and we really do. And but if we can afford to take a day or two off work to make it, it will be sustainable in the long term, rather than we'll just sort of get burnt out after a year and a half or something and pack it in. So we very much appreciate your support. There are a couple of things to explain about some of the levels of the Patreon subscription, Joel.
Yep. Yeah, basically we've got the first one, which is just access to the bonus content, which some of you might be on, which is cool. If you've got here, you've figured out how to get to it. The biggest stumbling block there is the fact that the bonus content isn't on the mainstream podcast apps. It's a huge pain in the ass. There's a Patreon app. There's an RSS feed thing. If you know what that is, well done. 99% of you won't. I use RSS feeds, and I'm a nerd. It's going to be really tricky. Then you got the second one, which is just a little bit more personal. We'll follow you on Twitter, open DMs, blah, 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 all that sort of thing. But you get a sticker pack and a bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that you're just that little bit better than the $5 guys. And we just like you that slight bit more. And then, of course, we've got the lifers. And the main difference between the other tiers is the fact that, A, we basically owe you. But B, like the backstage pass idea, which was Jack's idea. This is genius. It's great.
Yeah, what it means is basically we'll select out of a barrel, really, out of a hat, one of our lifers to join us in the prep that we do before we record. So you'll just be sitting there with Zencaster link and your mic open and all this sort of stuff while Joel and I make fools of ourselves. It'll be very much a laugh at you rather than laugh with you sort of scenario, and then hang around while we record the program.
Yeah.
So there's one. And then, of course, we'll be having Zoom meetings with all our lifers as well, monthly Zoom meetings with all our lifers.
That's right. Yeah, of course. And that'll be cool. We'll just have a bit of a powwow. Look, we might even bring back like a little trivia as we did a little while ago. There's just stuff we'll do. We'll make it fun. We'll make it worth a thing. We don't want to completely lock out the people who haven't given us money. We're still going to make sure the original weekly episode does stay very high quality. We're not going to be scrimping on that to try and make the Patreon better. But if, like I say, we could take a day off work, man, it'd just make such a huge
difference. It'd make it a whole lot easier rather than working 6 or 7 day weeks.
Huge.
Which is a bit draining, quite frankly.
Oh,
now,
these brutal.
These additional episodes, overflow episodes, if you like, will be rough and ready, Joel, which is just you being lazy, basically.
Well, the main episode is actually really quite finely curated. I go through and I take out a lot of your ums and ahs, which they're going to be fucking subject to today. And it's written for that sort of structure, edited for clarity, over hours of my Monday. And you're getting neither of those things today. You're just going to get the bootleg version of the podcast.
It's rough. It's hard.
It's like, when someone takes a fucking, mini disc recorder to a gig. Mini disc, what am I in fucking 1999? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So people love this sort of B-side shit. This is what we're giving you. We'll see what happens. This is still an experiment, but the lack of editing, as far as I'm concerned, isn't lazy. It's genuine. That's what we're going for. That's the angle.
So we may as well kick off the episode, Joel. And this is This is a ripping story, actually, and I
Isn't it
loved it when
just?
I first came across it. The story of a concreter and entertainer, Nathan Glover. It comes from a long line of concreting entertainers. He's
Yes.
44. He's been charged with setting fire to a 5G phone tower, which is a bit naughty.
It is.
It must be said from the start that Mr. Glover denies any involvement in the October 7 fire in Melbourne, down south around Mount Martha Way. So he will have his opportunity to put his defence forward in court. So we make no bones about his guilt or innocence, but there is some very strange stuff going on here. Police allege that he rode his electric scooter the 1.5 kilometre trip from his home to the tower, broke in and started the fire.
But you see, this is not the first time I've heard from Glover, who was featured on A Current Affair. I didn't see it. I found this when I was looking up for this bizarre.
You don't watch A Current Affair, Joel?
No, actually, I don't, because I've had enough dodgy tradie stories in my life already. But they actually done some pretty funny shit, including fuck with Pete Evans. So that's a bit of an ACA side note. The group's called PATIA, the Protection and Tactical Incident Response Squad. I guess they didn't call it PATIAs. And in this bizarre video that I haven't seen, but apparently is uploaded to Facebook, this is according to ACA, Mr. Glover, dressed in a helmet and makeshift body armor, beats himself with a stick to demonstrate the effectiveness of his protective gear. I love that was written down by someone. Some fucking journo graduate's like, I hate myself. I can't believe this is what's happening. I was gonna get a Pulitzer, but now I'm reporting on Mr. Glover. In another video, he beats himself with a stick while chanting "Freedom, freedom."
Oh wow, that's just sensational. We must find that video.
I know.
I presume he's gone the sort of hockey goalie type gear.
That's it.
With a bit of protective kit there, the helmet on,
Jason
the
Voorhees.
body suit and so forth. But any man who goes around self-flagellating for the camera, I dips me lid to him.
Look, when it comes down to it, you can't really trust someone who does that as a hobby. Basically, what he's said is that he's offering himself up to protesters as a human shield. So
he is an entertainer, Joel. Don't forget that.
Well,
he's there to
that is entertaining.
And he has to date been very entertaining. Here are some of his quotes about PATIA, his tactical response group in response to police. We do not attack. We do not condone attacking police. We're there so you guys, that's the anti-lockdowners, can do what you do without getting messed up.
Okay.
He also said, if police feel they need a display of force, then myself or one of my associates, really terrible grammar there, but we don't expect much from concreting entertainers, then myself or one of my associates will be there to take the heavy-handed treatment.
Excellent.
He's got to be a bondage enthusiast, doesn't he? He just loves a bit of pain. Sounds like he's just there for the pain. And finally, he said, our sole purpose is to protect protesters by passively putting our bodies, apostrophe S, in front of theirs and to protect the constitutional rights of all Victorians. So, Joel, what we'll see here is a seething mass of anti-lockdown protesters, a wall of police some 20 metres aside with Glover and one of his associates. Hopefully more standing in the middle of them saying, all right now, everyone just calm down.
No, he'll be standing there basically with his arms out saying, hit me, daddy, hit me.
Can you please?
And what constitutional rights of Victorians? What constitutional rights?
Beat me.
Oh, man, these people piss me off. So basically, he claims, according to ACA, the Victoria Police's riot squad has been deployed by the United Nations.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? To be honest, I'm more scared of VicPol than the UN. Clearly worse.
The UN and their pale blue hats, just making things worse by not doing anything.
And he also claims the federal government has sold its citizens to pay. They sold its citizens. I can't read this because it's so badly written. The federal government has sold its citizens to China to pay down debt. What?
That's right. We've been
sold
on the open market to the Chinese.
We're chattel slaves.
Pay down debt, yeah.
And apparently now Australians are doomed to be used in experiments for China's vaccines.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly normal. So presumably we'll be shipped off soon, or do we remain where we are. As
Do they come here? Like, are we like just a big lab now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
There's
difficult to say.
no fucking
According to
logic.
look, the other thing that's hugely funny about Nathan Glover is that he gets on Telegram and uses, which is an anonymous platform, and uses the handle Nate Glove.
I do like that. I do like that a lot.
So stupid. It just defeats the whole purpose. So, look, he is really, really entertaining. During his arrest, police alleged that a search of his home found magic mushrooms, unsurprising, cannabis, wire cutters, petrol. Well, you find petrol anywhere, won't you? And two samurai swords for a bit of ritual beating later in the evening. Bit of
They're ornamental.
Stuff.
They're ornamental. They are ornamental.
Yeah,
it's
look,
ridiculous.
Just very quickly. That a lot of the stuff. I mean, it basically cops came and searched your home. They'd find, there'd be a list of contraband that they'd find. I mean, I don't keep samurai swords and things like that, but they could easily find things that could be perhaps described as weapons, but you've never used them or had any intention to use them like that.
They always find samurai swords, and that's a thing. Like, nerds have samurai swords. They love having them on the wall. It's a dorky thing they bought on eBay for $100.
Yeah,
they're probably
it's
blunt as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's just trash. Yeah, so it's pretty embarrassing. But I do like the fact that he's got. I think I saw, like, in the article, there was like a giant jar, like 2 jars of mushrooms. Like, honestly, if you could just tell me how you found those.
It's all part of the rich life for a concreting entertainer, I think.
I tell you what.
But they also found, they popped into the backyard at Glover's place and found a 1.5 by 6 metre hole that he dug. He dug a hole.
He dug a hole. Dale dug a hole.
Apparently, for some reason, he told police, I'm not digging a swimming pool or a little cubby house for the kids or something like that, or even, some sort of doomsday prep. Yeah. He's actually told them, according to the police reports, that his desire was to use that hole to imprison dictator Dan Andrews.
Why the fuck would you tell police that?
Tell cops that. No comment.
Why?
No comment.
He must think they're on his side or something. Like, you know what? Actually, that's a really good idea.
Nice guys. They're really nice guys. These are the guys who are arresting me.
It's just complete madness. So basically, police allege that, as per usual, of course, this idiot boasted about his plan on Telegram using his Nate Glove.
Nate Glove. Who could that possibly be?
Name. Yeah, exactly. And he joined a group that called themselves the Hoodlums of Melbourne Special Ops and just openly discussed his plan.
Yeah.
The cops are all over Telegram. Glover, what the fuck are you doing? So people on Telegram are shaken by this, and our faithful research elves, who we love dearly. I hope you guys don't mind being called elves. Thank you, Sandy and Sharon. We love you very much.
Extraordinary, the work that you do. Thank you.
Yeah, truly. It's just ridiculous. You should have your own podcast. We should be helping you.
Yeah,
so basically, there's so much more across things than we are. And this whole arrest freaked them the fuck out. Everyone on Telegram was like, dude, if you've spoken to Nate Glove, delete your shit, delete your chat logs, get rid of it all.
Bit late now, guys. Bit late now for deleting things,
A little bit
You've been
late.
having a bit of a chat to Nate Glove about doing some naughty things. Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly, of course. How about these quotes here? This is just classic telling the cops everything in Telegram.
Yeah, one of the because this is Nate Glover's, and of course he said, I'm down for special ops only if I get to burn something. So he's got a little bit of the arsonist about him. Wants to see those flames lick and raise.
I tell you what, they're amazing on mushrooms. If you look at a fire on mushrooms, it is absolutely heavenly. There's so many patterns in it.
That does explain it.
So it makes total sense.
The chat's administrator responded, those 5G towers would make a nice fire. And
just no.
The anonymous Nate Glove allegedly replied, my thinking exactly.
Meeting of the minds there. Yeah,
so he's been charged with a whole raft of things, Joel.